and then the Dharma Talk, as per normal. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato SammaSambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato SammaSambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato SammaSambuddhassa. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Dutayampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Dutayampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Dutayampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Tatayampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Tatayampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Tatayampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May they be free from suffering and its causes. May they never be parted from their happiness beyond suffering. May they abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment to the near, and aversion from the far. I shall cause this. Great compassionate Buddha, please inspire me to be able to do so. Reverently I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every types of offerings, actual and mentally transformed. I confess all of my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in all the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until cyclic existence ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for all sentient beings. I dedicate the virtues of myself and others to the great enlightenment. However innumerable all sentient beings are, I vow to save them all. However inexhaustible my delusions are, I vow to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the Dharma teachings are, I vow to master them all. However endless the Buddha's way is, I vow to follow it completely. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Tayata gate gate parasamgate bodhi soha. Tayata gate gate parasamgate bodhi soha. Tayata gate gate parasamgate bodhi soha. So now get yourself very comfortable in meditation position. It doesn't matter if you're sitting on a chair or on a couch or on a cushion on the floor with crossed legs. For some of you that may have a bad back, maybe even lying down. But if you do that, make sure you don't fall asleep. And now the shoulders nice and even, not rigid, but also not drooping forward. The tongue rests on the upper palate above the top teeth. your lips gently touching. Now bring your mind to your body. To your feet. Release any tension from the tips of your toes all the way through your feet, the balls of the feet, the arches, the heels, the top of the feet, and the ankles, and the Achilles tendons. Now release the tension from the lower legs, the calf muscles, and around your shins. And now your knees, the front, sides, and back of your knees. And the upper leg, the quad muscles at the front and the hamstrings at the back. And now your midsection, your glute muscles, the hip flexors, and the groin. Release the tension from your lower stomach, from your hips and just above your hips, and your lower back. Further up your back to the center of your back, up your sides, and further up your stomach. Now release the tension from your chest area and under your arms and your upper back, the lateral muscles on each side, and the rhomboid muscles that run between the shoulder blades and the spine. We tend to carry a lot of stress in this area. And now release from the upper trapeze muscles that run between the neck and the shoulders, as well as the shoulders. From your upper arms, the biceps and triceps, your elbows, forearms, wrists, hands, fingers, and thumbs. Now bring your focus up to your neck and release any tension from the front, sides, and back of your neck, as well as up the back of your head. Sides of your head around your ears and temples, and your face around your cheekbones and cheeks. Make sure you're not clenching your jaw. Your chin and mouth area, both inside and outside. Your nose and sinuses and eye sockets and eyes. Make sure you're not frowning on your forehead. And finally, from the crown of your head. Now scan your body from the tips of your toes to the tips of your fingers and to the top of your head, just to see if you can let go of any residue or leftover tension. And when you are ready, gently bring your focus initially to the tip of your nose. The object of the brief meditation is the breath. Feeling of the breath as you breathe in and out. Don't try too hard. Don't try too little. Mindfulness of the breath. As you breathe in, the air is quite cool on the back of your throat. And when it enters the lungs, they expand. As you breathe out, the lungs compress, and the air is quite warm as it passes your throat on the way out. Just breathing in and out. There's nothing else you need to do right now. If you have distractions like thoughts or any mental agitation, just be aware of it without judging yourself. And then conscientiously replace your mind onto your breath. If your mind becomes dull and sleepy, wake yourself up ever so slightly by refocusing a little bit more brightly on your breath. This way, refocusing on the breath is the antidote for both the agitated mind as well as the dull mind. Now we will do this in silence for a few minutes. So even though this is a very short meditation, you can feel very pleased with yourself, be very happy with yourself. Be aware of the peaceful feeling that you have and rejoice in it. And rejoice in the rejoicing. Now we will do a brief loving kindness meditation. So fill yourself, fill your whole being with universal loving kindness. Appreciate yourself, respect yourself, be grateful to yourself. Be kind to yourself. I often call this the massage for the mind. The more the mind is filled with loving kindness, the less we have hatred and anger and mental agitation. Now you can extend this loving kindness outwards, radiate it to your loved ones, your family, your friends, wishing that they have happiness and the causes of happiness, and are free from suffering and the causes of suffering. It's like extending out a tidal wave of loving kindness. Now you can include those you don't really know very well, the strangers, wishing that they also are happy and free from suffering. Extend loving kindness further and further to now include those you may regard as enemies, those people you find very irritating, difficult to be with. May all of the people have happiness and the causes of happiness, and may they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May those that are not well, whether it is related to the global pandemic or other diseases or difficulties, may they become free from these difficulties. May they be healthy. May others that are also affected indirectly in relation to the lack of health, may they also have the courage to have a peaceful mind, remain healthy themselves, and help those that need their help. May the people that are behaving badly in the world, may they wake up to themselves, start to behave well, start to behave in a beneficial and harmless way. Now you can extend this loving kindness to all living beings, those that live on the land, under the land, in the waters, fly through the air, those that are born from wombs, from eggs, from moisture, and through transformation. May they all be happy and free from suffering. Around your local area, and extend it out further and further, like I said, like a tidal wave of loving kindness throughout your whole region, state or county, throughout your whole country. May there be peace everywhere. Extend the loving kindness out through the whole world to pervade the whole of this planet. Filling all living beings with universal loving kindness. And now extend it out further beyond this planet to pervade the whole solar system. And to pervade all of the solar systems and the space within this galaxy. And throughout all of the galaxies in this universe. May universal loving kindness bring benefit to all living beings. May we all be happy, and may we be free from suffering, and may peace pervade the whole universe. Now extend this loving kindness out throughout infinite space, without limit. You can bring to mind that universal loving kindness, as well as compassion, empathetic joy, and equanimity, are also known as immeasurables because they can be developed beyond measure, beyond limit. And they benefit innumerable sentient beings. Now, while maintaining this spacious mind, come back to yourself, and we will chant the dedication prayer. Due to this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of the Buddha, so that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their sufferings. May the precious bodhicitta, not yet born, rise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. And may the precious view of shunyata, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. So, you can feel very pleased with yourself. We have just increased our loving kindness a little bit, as well as helped it to spread around the world. The more loving kindness we have, the more friendly we are. The more friendly we are, the more we can influence others in a good way. It's very important, because every action, every thought, every word has an effect, both within our own minds as well as other living beings that we're in contact with, and even indirectly, those beings we're not in contact with. So the subject is the Eightfold Path at the moment. And the Eightfold Path, just to recap very briefly, is right understanding, right thoughts and intentions, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort or enthusiastic perseverance, right mindfulness, and right concentration. It can also be known as the three higher trainings of morality, meditation, and wisdom. The morality aspect is the right speech, right action, and right livelihood. The meditation aspect are right effort, mindfulness, and concentration. And the right wisdom, or the training in wisdom, I should say, is right understanding and right intentions or thoughts. At the moment, we're starting with morality, because morality, I like to say, is like the foundation of a house. If the foundation of the house is very, very strong and maintained to be very strong, then the walls can stand up and the roof can remain. But without strong foundation, then the walls and the roof come tumbling down. Some of you are quite experienced practitioners, and you may think that this is actually very simple, but really the foundation is, it depends how you take it yourself. The foundation of the path could even be the emptiness teachings, the Buddha nature teachings, depending on your own perception. When we engage in right speech, right actions, right livelihood, we are helping our mind to, first of all, stay calm and free of guilt, free of remorse, and become more clear. And at the same time, like I said, we're affecting others in a good way, in a beneficial way. So in the previous classes, we spoke about right speech, which is to avoid lying, avoid slandering others or using divisive speech, avoid abusive language and unskillful speech, and avoid gossiping. Instead, to tell the truth, to speak to unite, to speak skillfully and sweetly and meaningfully. Last week, we spoke about right actions, means to avoid killing or destroying life. Instead, respect life and save it even if you can. Avoid taking what is not freely given. Instead, be generous, contented, giving. And to avoid sexual misconduct. Instead, if you engage in this activity, do so with care and with love and with friendship. To unite can be quite helpful for partners to remain close together and respect each other. So today we talk about right livelihood, but we can also call this the right way of living, because livelihood you tend to think, well, this is to do with work. Or a student could say this is to do with my formal studies. But it also includes your hobbies, maybe the sports you engage in, or even going for a walk around the park, something as simple as that. We should be harmless in our activities like this, in the way that we live. Try to be harmless, first of all, to yourself. This is where the love and kindness comes into yourself. Be your own friend, be kind to yourself. Then also be harmless in your actions with others and also nature. As you know, there's too much destroying of the natural environment in the planet, whether this comes from digging into it. In other words, they call that mining, but digging into it, hurting the planet that way, or chopping trees down. And while it is absolutely ridiculous that we create more and more pollution, and then we destroy the very things that eat the pollution and purify it. This obviously is harmful. And hopefully, with our small little effort of training our mind, which is a big thing for ourselves, with that small effort, we can be a positive influence on to help others to stop to destroy the planet and so forth as well. Our livelihood, if at all possible, should bring benefit to ourselves and others. There are obviously lots of livelihoods or jobs that do this just naturally, such as the nurses and so forth. But in our work ourselves, if at all possible, we should not engage in anything that brings harm, even though that may be difficult. There was a student a few years ago, actually probably about 10 years ago, and she didn't know how to deal with her brother who was a cattle farmer. And, obviously bringing the animals up to then be sent to the slaughterhouse when they're ready. So, I said to her, well, this is his life, this is, ever since he was a child, this is what he's done. And he's kind. She said that he's very kind to the animals until that moment comes, So I said, you can't change him. You can't go there with your opinion and, be being vegetarian and you don't eat meat and things. Obviously, he does eat meat. Just try to influence slowly through your actions, I said. You don't want to get into an argument, So if we can influence others around us to not engage in the livelihoods that bring harm to living beings, then we should do so. But we should do so with kindness, not forcing our opinions on others. So just have a few little notes here. So we should abstain from training or trading in anything that is harmful. We should obviously don't trade in human beings, such as slavery. And this can be very subtle too. If you are the owner of your own business and have employees, don't treat them as slaves. Treat them as equals. It's like every single part of a machine helps that machine to work properly. Don't try not to be arrogant and think you're above others, even if you are the boss or the owner. Actually, treat everybody equally. Also, obviously, don't trade in prostitution, like a pimp. This is very similar to slavery. And years ago, I did actually speak to somebody who was engaged in that. Some of you may know that for periods of time in my life, I've visited prisons. And I did speak to one guy that was actually in Melbourne. He was running an illegal brothel and bringing in people from other countries. And he got caught, so he went to prison. He wasn't such a bad guy, just really, really silly and really ignorant to the fact that his work was bringing harm to others. His argument was that the ladies liked the money. I said to him, you need to forget about money for a minute and think about what it's doing to their minds and their self-respect and so forth, and your own as well, I said. So he since has been released and he's actually got a proper job now. So a very simple job. And then also we should avoid trading in flesh, breeding animals for slaughter. And this one as well can be very subtle. Obviously, if you have a farm, it's a dairy farm, then you should treat the animals with kindness, not try to milk them too often just for profit. Do it in a natural way as much as possible. But if at all possible, do something else. Do something that brings some sort of relief to yourself and others. As some of you know, I have a past in the entertainment industry, as a singer-songwriter, but also as an actor for a period of time too. And I thought to myself, this is very selfish, especially when I got into the acting, very selfish career. always having to, it's almost be opportunistic in many ways. Put yourself in the right position. Think of yourself. And so I thought, how can I make this less selfish? You know, and I thought to myself, well, at very least what's happening is bringing some sort of relief to people, whether it's on a TV show or through playing music, you know, try to play music that is helpful with lyrics that are beneficial, or at very least, you know, non-aggressive and so forth. So even if we have a career in that industry, we also can make it be of benefit. And also, if you're earning good money, you know, help others that don't have it. You know, whether that is, you know, donating money and helping others with money, or materials, or even just giving your time and your positive attitude, and help others to maintain a positive attitude themselves. The next one is don't trade in intoxicants. This obviously relates to bad drugs, you know, especially the heavy drugs, or selling them as a drug dealer. Obviously should avoid this for many reasons, including what it does to your own mind and what it's doing to the people that are buying the things from you. You never know, you know, what can happen to them. Then also avoid trading in alcohol if possible, even though alcohol is legal and it is sold in many places. I've had people ask me in the past, oh, I work in a bottle shop selling alcohol. You know, and I say to them, well, that's, you know, if you can do something else, do something else. If not, if it's too difficult, then do it with a good attitude and be kind to others. Be really giving with yourself. Smile a lot. And if at all you can help others not to have too much, is a good thing too. The next one is poisons. Don't trade in poisons that can either kill living beings or destroy the planet, destroy nature, or make people, other living beings, and nature become sick. We should obviously not trade in weapons, anything that can bring destruction. So don't go out there, start making guns and bombs and things, because the nature of weapons is destruction. They destroy things. A lot of people, especially in the countries that have a lot of weapons, so the USA, for instance, they protect their gun law. You know, the right to bear arms, the right to protect your property. But actually the guns are not there to cause peace, are they? They're not there to maintain peace. They may be able to do that for a really short time, but in the long term, they bring destruction and even death. In fact, those gun laws over there, I lived in America for a period of time, as you know. And those gun laws that they hang on to over there were at a time when I think it took minutes to load one bullet into a musket, into an old style gun, not semi-automatic weapons. So I think they really, really need to change their laws there. It's really bad. And some other places too. So any type of livelihood that results in destroying life or harming life, we should try to avoid. And think about it like this, you know, especially for the experienced practitioners, think about what it's doing to your mind, or for everybody actually. What is it doing to your mind? If you start to harm others or harm yourself, eventually what starts to happen is you become numb to it. It starts to become a habit, and then we reinforce that habit. We don't think about it as we engage in it. And on the worst case scenario, you can even start to enjoy it from an egotistic point of view, from a power position. Yeah, obviously, I don't think any of you would be at that stage. But think about it. Maybe when you practice contemplation meditation, you can think, have I become numb to this harming that's going on, whether I'm engaging in it or others, or it's on TV or films or in music? Actually, we should try to avoid watching films or TV or listening to music that it is harmful, unless you do it with a really calm mind to learn, because you can actually learn something from watching violent films and things like that, how not to behave. Then also, what else did I want to mention? Also be careful not to trick yourself. So to give in to your habits and convince yourself that, oh, I'm being harmless, when we're actually being a little bit harmful. I think that it's easy for us to trick ourselves. So always check our mind. That doesn't mean be hard on yourself. It doesn't mean, get down on yourself. It's actually a positive thing to recognize our faults.